So to create the store plaque, we're just going to start with some Want2Scrap nested board, chipboard, which coordinates with the spellbinders, and I've just layered that with some old book paper, and we're going to give that even more of a distressed ink. I'm using the Colorbox Decades Antiquing Dye ink from Design for Graphic 45 here in the Venetian Lace, which is a real light color, and then also we'll be inking up with the dark cashmere as well around the edges of the page. And I'm just inking up in two specific spots here because we're going to layer another sheet of paper, stamped paper over the top, and we're just going to be peeling away in those two areas. So that is all we're going to see, and then along the edges as well. And then we'll go in with the smaller piece of chipboard as well. I'm using the Memory Essentials terrific tool here with a foam tip, and I think these are really awesome for adding antiquing, giving that distressed sort of antique look to your projects. So we've got both of those all distressed, and then we're going to just start with a sheet of chipboard. I've cut it so it's just a little bit bigger than my chipboard, and then we're going to go in here with the Cherry Blossoms set from MyStampbox, and I'm going to use the large blossom here. We're going to ink that up. This is the new Cuties. This is the Elements set, which comes with a white, gold, and shade of black, and I'm inking this up with the black, and we're just going to create a whole layered background with the same stamp and the gold ink. Just going to go in there over and over just to create a sort of like a wallpaper design. And you can go in after every few stamps with your clear embossing powder just to make sure that ink doesn't dry too soon. When we're finished with that whole design, I'm going to go in here just with a little Q-tip tip, and we're going to paint in the white into the flower petals. So I'm just going to use a Q-tip there because that's the easiest to apply pressure. I'm sorry, you can add the ink without applying too much pressure. It just transfers really nicely. I'm going to color in all those little leaves, and then we'll go back in the center with the gold shade. And when I'm all finished with that, we're just going to take a piece of scrap, like a paper towel, and I'm going to rub that color in to help blend it into the paper really nice. You won't be able to tell at all that I colored it. Now to attach this piece of paper, the stamped sheet, to the chipboard, I'm just going to use some Mod Podge here, and I'm going to layer that on the back. And then I'm going to set my secondary, my stamped sheet of paper on top. Make sure that adheres really well, and then we're going to set that aside to help it dry just a little bit more, and then we'll cut that out. Now, we're going to take the Royal Flush set from MyStampbox, this alphabet set. It's a really cool design, and I'm just going to stamp some initials. We're actually making this for a friend, so we used her daughter's initials. And I'm going to stamp that on the smaller chipboard with the black ink from the Cuties Elements set. I'm going to emboss that as well with clear embossing powder. And when that's all finished, you get a really fun design. We're going to go in with the gold around the edges of the chipboard. And then I'm just going to add a little pink as well in the center. And this is from the Passion Cuties set. After we blend that in, I'm going to use the pink shade here in the middle. The Passion set has a shade of pink, purple, and then also a silver. So that's great for all your Valentine's Day projects and love related, or just regular girly projects. Now we're going to take our larger chipboard before that dries too completely. I'm going to trace around this, cut it out with a craft knife, peel that extra paper away, and then we're going to go around the edges again with our Venetian Lace Antiquing Dye ink to help give this a very aged, vintage sort of look. And then I am going to cut away where we originally inked up the dictionary paper on the back, where we sort of distressed that. I'm going to make two slits right there, and then I'm going to peel that paper back away so we can see the book paper behind. And I'm going to just kind of fold those edges over. I'm going to set it with the heat gun to really help keep those edges curled in place. Alright, when we're completed with that, we're going to add a little bit of ribbon. I'm going to add 2 layers. I've got the score tape down, 1 layer of white ribbon, and then another layer of crinkle ribbon. The crinkle ribbon is made by my friend Julie K. Bit of Bling, and she has the 3 Girl Jam online shop, and she has her own hand-dyed crinkle ribbon, which is just gorgeous. It's a gorgeous texture, and we also use the bow. I also used her bow maker to create the bow, which you'll see in just a little bit. Alright, the next step, we're going to create an embellishment to go on this plaque, and I'm going to use the Words Rollograph to stamp onto a die cut heart. We're going to emboss that with clear embossing powder. Again, I use the watermark ink cartridge with the rollograph. Emboss that, and then we're going to go over the top with the gold pigment ink. I'm going to just rub that to blend it in. You can use your finger. I'm using my scrap cloth here that's all inked up, and then we're going to add a little bit of pink from the Passion set as well. Rub that in, blend it in, blend those colors in really nicely. That's one of the really awesome things about the pigment ink, is how well it blends. I'm going to scrunch that heart up to give it some dimension, and we'll stick that down. I'm going to adhere my smaller chipboard with my monogrammed letters using some foam squares from 3L Scrapbook adhesives, just over to the right side there. And I'm going to add an old earring. I lost the other one. These were some of my favorites, but they're still pretty. I still kept it around. Added a single bow, and then I'm going to add a stick pin as well. This is from the Hydrangea Hippo shop. She has a ton of gorgeous pins. This one's a little bit long, and it's a little too pink for the look I'm going for here. So I just snipped off the edge with my wire cutters, and then I'm going to give it a good coating of glue gloss, and then sprinkle it with some glitter. This is the cotton candy pink. That's the shade. We're just going to sprinkle that, and that shade of pink works better with the plaque we've got going on here. And I'm just going to stick that in the back. I'm going to stick it right through the foam squares so I can make sure it stays in place and it doesn't poke anybody. Next, we'll add the ribbon that we're going to hang the plaque from. So I'm going to punch a couple holes out here. You can see that earring keeps falling out. I'm going to have to go back and use hot glue because the foam squares just don't work with the metal. You need a little bit stronger adhesive. Alright, so then I've punched my holes. I'm going to take a bow that I've pre-made, again with the bow maker from 3 Girl Jam. I'm going to tie a knot in the front on each side of I'm going to thread it through the holes, and then that's what we'll hang the plaque from. Then the final step, we're going to go in here with the Want2Scrap Nesta Bling that coordinates with the Nesta board and also the Spellbinders dies. I think it's labels 25, and that completes our project.